Good morning guys, welcome to Lost Phoenix Gaming. I'm on Forza Motorsport 7, looking at Forzathon challenges for the final week of January. So let's have a look, let's get into it and let's see what we've got for this week. So first off, we've got Along the Beach, complete a race at Long Beach in a Chevy manufactured car. And this is for this Chevy Monte Carlo Super Sport Forza Edition, the one everyone seems to want. It's really damn hard to get, so that's good. And you've got drifting in the night, get a drift score of 5,000 in a single lap of a drift event at Silverstone in the 88 Monte Carlo, and then you've got drift score of 10,000 in a drift event at Circuit of the Americas, again in the Monte Carlo. So obviously weighted heavily towards Monte Carlo this week. You can see I've still got a few multiplayer races up there, but not really too fussed about them because they just take so long to load. I may do some of them before the end of the month, I may not, depends. And next up we have a fine Vantage, win a race in a Sport Compact Icons Division car, complete 5 laps at Laguna Seca in a Vintage GT Racing Divisions car, and then complete a race in a Vintage Sports GT Division car. So that'll be for the Cyber Driver gear. For drifting, gets you 90,000 credits, and the course along the beach gives you this Chevy Monte Carlo. So without further ado, let's jump straight in and have a look. What I'll do is I'll jump straight in. I will decide to go backwards. I'll start with a Sport GT Icons car, which in this case will be the Mitsubishi GTO, which is nice, racing up against a Mazda, I think the MX-5, whatever version it is, but I'm in the GTO by Mitsubishi, a fine piece of Japanese manufacturing, bit of a classic from the 80s, but handling very well around this track actually, to be fair. It's just annoyed me a little bit this week. I can't sort of combine the challenges because I like to do that. I like to do what I can with stuff like this because it gives me an extra bit of a challenge as well, finding ways to work around everything. But this week it's pretty much a clear-cut case of doing the races and just doing them. But I'm doing them out of order because I've got the first challenge set, which gives you the Monte Carlo. Remember, the second challenge set is drifting in the Monte Carlo, and then you've got this challenge set, which is just all about GT cars. And because I can't link the GT cars to the other stuff, okay, I'll do it separately, I'll get it out of the way, and then I can concentrate on the main event, which is for Monte Carlo. So cross the line, nice quick lap on that one. Didn't quite catch the finish time there, but it was 1 minute 10 seconds round the track against the Mazda RX-7. Actually not the MX-5, the RX-7. So pop-ups, I've made progress in a fine Vantage. Yep, riveting Rosie there, or racing Rosie as I like to call her. Doing a fine lap around the track. Next up, complete 5 laps at Laguna Seca in a Vintage GT Division car. Alright, it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. So what we'll do is we'll go in and we'll have a look at this, shall we? There I am in the Ferrari up against the Shelby Cobra. Brilliant. I like this Ferrari. This is really sort of cool. It's got vintage styling and everything, and it's actually not too bad on the handling. I do like the Shelby Cobra. It's one of my favourite cars in the whole game, and there's only one reason, just one reason why I'm not driving the Shelby Cobra in this race, and that is because it's American. Right, before you American guys go, what's wrong with America? I'll tell you now. I've decided to try and bring some equality into this week because the main event is about the Chevy Monte Carlo. You've got 2 challenge sets based around this. and being an American car means it's very American centric. So I've decided for a fine vintage to actually bring other nations in and represent other key manufacturing nations. First off, we had Japan with a Mitsubishi in my last race. This one we've got Ferrari, which obviously is from Italy, which is Europe. So you've got Japan covered off, you've got European cars covered off, and in the next event I'll probably put a British car in. So you'll have your Japanese, you'll have your Europeans, and you'll have your British, and then following that will be full on red, white and blue American power. But 5 laps around here takes a little while. Actually takes a couple of minutes to do a lap and do a quick cut like I've just done. 1 minute 52 across the line. Brilliant against Shelby Cobra, although in all fairness I'm not too keen on that silver and black colour scheme. I do like the blue and white, the classic. Against M-Bots, Shelby Cobra 427. I'm in a Ferrari 250 LM, both A-class cars. Excellent. So that gives me the pop-ups. You've made progress in a fine vintage. Yes, and a fine one it is in a Ferrari as well. So I'll move on, I'll have a look, and let's have a look at the final stage for this challenge. Complete a race in a vintage sport GT division car. That will get me the Cyber driver gear. And then I'll be having a look at along the beach to get this Chevy. So here I am, and as promised I've got a British car. I've got the Aston Martin Vantage. Fantastic, in British Racing Green. I'm taking it around the airfield test track out in the Mojave Desert. This isn't normally one I tend to race, but I've got M-Bots here, my driver to our opponent for the week, deciding to try and run me off the track, but I'm doing a good job of that myself, I think. This is the thing about this track. It's got loads of space where you can just go into areas which isn't really part of the track, and it will delay you or slow you down, so it can be quite a difficult track if you don't play it very often, which I don't. But I thought I'll do this track because that's the reason I don't play it very often, so let's give it a try. Let's chuck the Vantage round and let's represent the UK, shall we? Let's show a bit of UK engineering. So this is an Aston Martin Vantage, absolutely brilliant, iconic British car, one of the very few British cars left, funnily enough. But we've had the Japanese, we've had the Europeans, we've got the British. So I'm not doing too badly along here. Coming up on the home straight. I can see the finish line on the mini-map, which is absolutely brilliant. So this is a pretty easy win, to be fair. And cross line, 1 minute 24 seconds. There you go. Up against M-Bots in the Ferrari 365 GTB4. Very nice. So that's a pop-up on that one. You can see the Aston Martin a little bit better here. I've knock a headlight out on the way round. I've completed fine vintage. Excellent. So what I'll do is have a quick look onto a Forzathon screen, claim my prize of a Cyber driver gear, push the limits of speed in my yellow and black. So what I'll do next is along the beach, complete a race at Long Beach in a Chevy manufactured car. And this will get me this Chevy Monte Carlo Supersport Forza Edition that everyone wants. So I've done the representation of other nations, and now I'm looking at the American cars, American muscle power. And this is it, guys. The Question came up from EF9 Riding a couple of weeks ago now. What's the easiest way to get the Forza Edition Monte Carlo? Right. Normally you have to get pretty lucky. You have to win it in a milestone reward. So that's when you level up your driver level. But I've never seen one. So they are pretty rare. But this has come out this week. And this is how you get it. You just do one race round Long Beach in a Chevy car. I've picked the Impala, naturally. Being a Supernatural fan, you have to pick the Impala. But you do this race and you can get this car. So all you guys have been asking, either in the forums or on my comments, this is how you do it. This is the simplest way of doing it. Just go in, do this race, pick the car up and just go with it. Even if you do no other Forzathon challenges, if you just want this car, go in and grab it. It's literally being given away for no effort this week whatsoever. I'm coming up to finish line in the Impala 1 minute across the line. So that's 1 minute it's taken me to get this Forza Edition Monte Carlo. So it's as easy as that, guys. It is that bloody easy. Against the Pagani Zonda as well, because my Impala is souped up. So what I'll do is have a look at the next screen, which gives me my rewards. Riveting rosy there. Along the beach I've made progress and of course completed along the beach. And then we start having a look at the reward screen. So what I'll do is I'll pop into the Forzathon screen and claim my car. Here you go. 1988 Chevrolet Monte Carlo Super Sport Forza Edition. It's a legendary car. It's worth 90 collector points, but if anyone bothers with collector points these days, but it's a legendary car. It's much sought after, and there you go. That's the easiest way to get it, guys. The next challenge is to get a drift score of 5,000 at Silverstone in this car at night. Then after that, you could get a 10,000 drift score at Circuit of the Americas at night. So what I'll do is I'll jump straight into Silverstone. Let's go for this 5,000 drift score and let's go. This is actually a very interesting car to drive because it's not fast, it's not great, it's actually pretty damn slow, and handling's a bit iffy on it, it's a bit heavy, but this is one of the most desirable cars in the game. Partly, I think, because it sort of is an American icon car, and partly because it's unbelievably rare. It's a legendary car and it's really hard to get hold of. So this is why I think people like it. It's not one I would overly use in races, particularly without putting a tune on it, because it is so slow. It takes so long to wind up and get to corners. But if I was going to use it, I'd put a tune on it and get a bit of power out of it. But for these races, I've decided to leave it as it is, not modify it, not tune it. This is for the purists. You know, this is like, we want this car, we like this car, this is what it is. So I'm racing it without any modifications, exactly how it comes. drifty around the corner. It's doing very well. 13,000. So I've definitely smashed that 5,000 target on this one. Got just under 4 minutes left as well on the clock, and I'm coming up to a finish line, which means I don't really need to go and do another lap. I might have a little mess about, see what I can get by hitting corners at speed, but I'll probably edit those out. But there you go, cross line, 13,507 I think it is, because my logo is way too big in the corner. I might resize that. And 13,587, yes. So brilliant in the Monte Carlo Forza edition. You can see it a bit better. That's what weird emerald green, telling me I've made progress. It actually looks massive in that in this screen. It does. The car looks really sort of high off the ground. I don't know if it's supposed to look like that, or whether it's just some weird thing in the game, but there you go. So, Forzathon screen, I think it's 10,000, I'll just go check, yes. Get a drift score of 10,000 in a single lap of a drift event at Circuit of the Americas in the Chevy Monte Carlo. That will get me 90,000 credits, which is absolutely brilliant. So getting into it, Circuit of the Americas in the Monte Carlo, 10,000 drift score in a single lap, and yes, this track is actually nice. This is actually pretty well lit. It's supposed to be a night race, but this is more like a evening sort of race, but it is a lot better to do. I've got to get 10,000. I've got an 8-minute timer on, clip the tyres a little bit, but it does take so long to get up to speed. This is actually really frustrating, but 10,000 shouldn't overly be a problem on this one. I've just cocked 1,000 there, try and do similar sort of things to what I was doing, just little drifts and build the score up. But if I can hit some corners at a reasonable speed, I can try and push it over 1,000, which will easily get me up to my 10. Particularly when you look on the mini map, you can see there's a few little bends and kinks in the track, which even if it only gives me a couple hundred, is a couple of hundred. It all goes towards a total. So, a little weave in and out. Not really got the power of speed to be putting a lot of power into it and doing stuff at speed and throwing the back end out, but it's doing the job. Just need to be a bit careful not to slide off. This is one of those things where you can do the drifting challenges, you can do the drifting, you can get the score, but it doesn't look very good. Because people watch drifting events because they want high speed, slamming it round turns, smoke from the tyres, literally driving sideways for as much time as possible. And I know people who do drifting. It's the lad I used to work with. Does drifting up in Cheshire and drives a heavily modified BMW 318. When I say heavily modified, he's got a 5-litre engine in the thing. I remember he actually was telling me a story. He's actually come to work and just comes up to at traffic lights. He's in it. This is before he had all the paint done on it and all his sponsorship. I think he had a 3-litre engine at the time. He's since upgraded to a 5. He's up the traffic lights and this guy comes up in, this proper boy racer type comes up in a, I think it's in a Ford Fiesta or something like that, and was giving it all the revs that are lights and had the exhaust done. He just looks over at me and goes, "Really, mate?" The lights changed and he just puts his foot down and just left him in the dust. And it wasn't like this guy that was speeding around, and he literally just went from 0 to 30 in like no time at all, and the other guys are sitting there, lights going, what? I don't think you can get away with that these days because he's got all his sponsorship on it and everything, and you can basically tell it's a racing car now. But no, you can you do these drift events and you just want to see people go sideways, and this just doesn't look that exciting. But I mean, you've got a car like Monte Carlo. It's quite heavy. It's slow. You can't do that sort of stuff. That's like performance drifting. This is sort of drifting you do in your family saloon, you know. Not that I advise anybody to drift in my family saloon, of course. But no, it's getting me 11,093 points, so definitely hit the 10, so it's definitely doable. I've still got a few corners to do before I get up to the finish line on this one. If the audio sounds a bit weird this week, there is a reason for that. It might sound a bit echoey and a bit strange. That's because I've got some carpet being installed. I've been renovating my house and got some carpet being installed in a few days' time. So we've had to take all the old carpet up because the guys that are fitting it are just coming to fit it. They're not taking anything up, taking anything away. So we've took it up and got rid of it. And so I was sitting in a room with floorboards, and when you haven't got carpet, you haven't got the dampening, and it echoes more, it doesn't absorb the sound as much. So if it sounds like I'm in a bit tin boxy and stuff like that, that is why. But next week should sound a bit better because I actually have some carpet down the floor again. But other than that, across the line, about 14,179, which is brilliant. You can see I went for a bit of a spin. Got another few drift points, but I haven't bothered showing that. And I've made progress in drifting in the night. And I've completed drifting in the night. So I've got the car, I've done my 2 drifting events. So that's 2 challenges knocked on my head. I did my 3rd challenge first, which means this is my final challenge. I get my pop-ups telling me 90,000 credits. That's what I get for that. And that is the Forzathon for the week. If I go back in and let's have a look at next week's. What have we got next week's? Having a laugh, just for fun. That's 45,000 credits. It's a bit stingy, but never mind. Supercar Stars, some serious horsepower for the played driver gear. And American classics like Apple Pie for the 1987 Firebird Trans Am GTA, which I think I have got. I think that's one I've got, and I've skinned it like Kit from Knight Rider. The February stuff's out next week as well, the VIP, the car pass and the showcase for the credits, and the 2010 Maserati Gran Turismo S Forza Edition, which should be interesting because it looks quite a nice car, actually, that does. So that's what we've got for next week. I'll be having my normal weekly Forzathons, and I'll be doing the monthly ones as well, depending on what I can and cannot combine. It may be 1 video, maybe 2 videos, I'm not entirely sure. But moving down the list, you can see what I've completed. I've done Fine Vintage first, then it was Along the Beach, and then it was Drifting in the Night, so I've done that. January Car Pass, done that. VIP, I've done that. Multiplayer, don't give a monkeys about it at the moment. So here it is. That's the Chevy Monte Carlo, the Forza Edition, in weird bluey, greeny, turquoisey colour type thing, but it's not bad at all. So that's it, guys. That's the video for the week. Hopefully you found it funny, enjoyable, entertaining, whatever you get out of it. I hope you found it. And definitely, if you guys are after this Chevy Monte Carlo, get it and do that Long Beach challenge. Just get it. I got it in under a minute. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy. If you like what I'm doing, hit that like button. Hit subscribe to keep up to date with things. And until next time, happy driving.